G'day, I'm Kanga Cairns. I'm chatting about another training session I've done with Brett Simpson, a 22-year-old kid from Huntington Beach with really great surfing talent. We needed to get some focus in his surfing and practice some really fundamental skills. So what we discussed initially was selecting winning waves in the lineup and selecting backup waves in the lineup. Then we went into his surfing focus and we pulled out the double pump at the point of takeoff. Make that one big bottom turn straight off the takeoff. Then it was to choose moves that suit the style of wave we were riding. Was it down the line or was it a peaky wave? You change how you surf each of those waves. And then lastly, do the big moves, but always make the wave and finish it off with a solid maneuver. That's critical at the top level.
Wave one of the heat, a good winning wave from the outside. Nice big maneuvers on the outside there. No big effort, but no mistakes. Clean power moves. Nice, solid, powerful moves, cutbacks. Great flow. This is going to be a good scoring wave, and it's doing all the maneuvers without risk. No big major maneuvers, but no mistakes. And a nice, clean little finishing off in the inside here. That's a very solid opening wave. Big snap on the outside, back up wave, keeping the flow moving, running down the line, waiting for the inside section to set up. On a wave like this, you really need to get big maneuvers going. But early in the heat, it's good to have two rides under your belt, puts a lot of pressure. Sitting too far out, miss the wave. And here's an example of how we checked the break and we knew that the second and third waves of the set went wide, and they were the ones that really had the nice long wall. So Brett was in great position in the lineup. Two big snaps in a row, the wave standing up in front of him, enabling big powerful cutbacks. This is going to be a very, very high scoring wave. Big maneuvers all the way through on that wave. That was great use of the sandbar. Fourth wave, backup wave location, high performance maneuvers, a lot more energy in this wave. This is a very solid heat for Brett, and he brings it in at the end of the heat. 4 waves was what we decided on, 4 waves ridden. No scrambling for little crummy waves. It was all good quality surfing and a great heat.
The first surf session we had at Ponto was a very solid heat. 2 winning waves, 2 backup waves. The strategy was just to go for 4 waves. It was a very cleanly surfed heat, but I would have liked to see more energy in the maneuvers. Later on during the day we saw more energy, but just to get out there and not make mistakes is really critical.
First wave of the second session, beautiful big outside snap. Nice little quick snap there, not too deep, enables him to keep going down the line. Loses the wave a touch, brings the speed back in there, pumping up and down, but needs to do more cutbacks and turns instead of streaking down the line. Big finishing maneuver, so it'll be an okay start wave on that session. Back up wave, this is where Brett needs to lift the performance, and now we start to see some real carving backwards and forwards as he uses that steep section. Those are very, very good maneuvers for how small the wave is. And you can see that he pulls out of that wave. He should have maximized that wave and brought it into a big re-entry. Third wave, fourth wave. Now here we go. Big snap off the top, big commitment to the maneuvers, and bam! You can see lifting the maneuvers to score higher points on the backup waves. Again, another example of where the inside wave was right on the sandbar, but the second and third waves of the set went wide. This is exactly what we talked about, and Brett was in perfect position for this wave. Nice snap off the top to get things going. Big re-entry, lots of maneuvers. Really clean carving maneuvers with speed, power, precision, and flow. This is a very, very solid wave, and I'm really liking that wave and the level of performance. Now we see caught too deep, caught behind, but brings it up over the whitewater. Very, very tricky maneuver. Speed cutback, big slashing re-entry. We'd decided that in this heat the wave count was going to be 6. But here you see Brett gets caught behind, and now his wave count is getting too high, and the quality of the waves is going down. Rather than sitting out the back and consolidating the heat with the good scores he's already got, Brett is wasting time with backup waves instead of going out and getting winning waves from his competitors.
In the second session, we saw way too many waves ridden. The jazz and energy and the maneuvers on the first couple of waves were really good, but Brett went into the inside section where he caught way too many backup waves. He caught 7 waves, and we were talking about 4 to 6. In the time that he was on the inside, someone could have been sitting out the back and caught a set wave and made him lose the heat. So once you've had your scores, get out the back, grab position, go for more winning waves, because you want to rub the nose in the sand of anyone you're beating.
Session 3, what would be a winning wave if he had been more aggressive on the takeoff, turns into a wipeout and is a dud. Follows up by another wave that's too deep on the sandbar, out of position, and instead of driving down the line to get out on the shoulder, caught behind on the next section. But here we have a backup wave, working real hard, trying to keep the speed flowing, keeping the maneuvers going, fresh, crisp, aggressive cutbacks, making sure he maximizes the wave. This is the sort of wave that will get you back into a heat when you've had a couple of problems like he had on those early 2 waves. Here's another backup wave, right on the inside section where the waves go wide onto the sandbar. Good maneuvers, speed down the line. Big floater right up over the whiteboard, a very aggressive maneuver. Nice, hard, powerful cutback and a big, powerful re-entry. 2 solid waves get him back in the heat. And then Brett comes from behind, and without aggressively attacking that wave, he can't make it across to the next section. This was something we really discussed, and that was another mistake. But here we go. Brett comes back again, fights back in this heat. Big snapping maneuver. Big snapping maneuver. Really aggressive surfing on backup waves. This is the kind of mental attitude where you're coming back from a mistake and you're able to put great waves together, fighting back, bringing yourself back into the heat. That was a big scoring wave, probably up in the 8s. That's the sort of surfing I want to see. But again, Brett comes back on another wave and he gets caught behind again. And this is the sort of mistakes that Brett is apt to make, and he needs to focus on not doing these sorts of things. You cannot do a big cutback and miss the next section on the wave. But fights back again. In this session, Brett keeps on coming back. This is showing a real growth in mental strength, and it's the kind of thing that he needs to do if he wants to be successful. Great, powerful carving cutback, followed up by 2 or 3 big rhythmic re-entries and cutbacks. Great rhythm, power and speed. Fantastic surfing.
The third session was actually a bit of a meltdown, and I really wanted to see this with Brett, because when things are going good, the guy's very hard to beat. But when things are going bad, he needs to learn how to regenerate a heat, get back into contention. So he had one great wave at the start of heat and wiped out. He followed up with a backup wave way too deep, missing the section down the line. But then he came back into the backup wave location and got 2 solid scoring waves, a lot of energy, good performance, so now he's back in the heat. Well, then he lapses again, gets another wave too deep, but then he comes back with even more performance. So I really like the way he focused down his energy. Even though he was losing, he used the time efficiently to get his backup waves and get scores and get back in contention. That's the sort of thing that we really need to work on with Brett. So an overview, working with Brett Simpson was really a treat. The guy's a great surfer, fantastic high performance moves, easily at WCT level, but he can't seem to get there because out there in the QS it's rough and tumble, and there's tons of guys with good talent, and you need to have a clear plan. And what Brett has, he's got all of this talent, but he needs focus. Focus, focus. I emphasize that because that's the one thing missing in terms of harnessing that talent and turning it into a solid heat performance, riding 2 really good scoring waves. Don't worry about what other people are doing, get away from them, don't talk to people, focus on what your plan is, and then you'll be successful. As I said, it was a pleasure working with Brett, and my expectations are very high, and I'm going to put pressure on him to lift his expectations himself, get out of the rut, and start winning these events. I'm Kanga Cairns. It's been fun working on this thing. I'll see you later.